Welcome back, everybody, to Empyrion Galactic Survival. I'm anoldguygaming, and in this episode, we're going to set up some power switches and circuits and stuff like that to help reduce power consumption on the ship. Some of it's already in place. Some of it was done by a friend of mine who put the LCD projectors in. But then, of course, some changes have been made. So I just want to kind of go through that and get that set up a little bit. I want to change the landing gears to retractables, and if we have enough time, we're going to go get some crew and set up some crew in the ship too. And once we do that, I think we're ready to actually go. So I've already started work on this, but I thought I'd bring you in right now and kind of get you up to speed on what I have in mind for setting stuff up. So right now, what I just did is I put the crop plot lights in a farm group, as well as the ventilator there. And you know what we could do, now that I think about it, is let's go back into here. Let's find the farm group. There isn't a way to rename that, is there? Oh yeah, there is. Okay, so let's call this food and farm. And what I'm going to do with this group is everything that I put into it is stuff that will be on all the time. We'll never turn it off. All right, so we want all the refrigerators in the food and farm group. Add to last group. Oh, since I closed out, I have to redo that. Okay, food and farm group. Add to last group there, and add to last group there. Okay, so this ventilator here should be add that to last group. There we go. Okay, so I want, if we happen to land on a planet or we're up in space or whatever, and I turn all the ventilation off, and I probably wouldn't do that necessarily deliberately, but if if I'm just spaced it off or whatever, I want to make sure that this ventilator at least continues running, because it's what's providing oxygen to our farm here, as well as the lights. I'm also looking at seeing what I can do about maybe toning down the black light effect without without turning it off all the way, or given the option of turning it off, when we're just going about our everyday business, because we just don't need it, but then turn it on when we want the ship to look cool, kind of thing. So what I did was I took these lights up here and I changed them to white lights, and I added them to a different group, an interior lighting group, so that when I kill the lights, it doesn't turn off the lights inside of the ship. And there are over 300 lights on this ship. Let's go back here. Roll this all up for a second. And so these are the ones I just added. But if you look here, 329 lights on this ship. I figured it'd be easier to pull the interior lights out and put them into their own group, rather than pull the exterior lights out with the blue, black light effect, and put them into their own group. Because this is the vast majority of these lights are going to be outside lights. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to kill the main lights. Let's do this. Let's go to custom switches. So let's call this interior lights. Okay. Now, if we go to here and we select the interior lights and we add them to that group, now we can turn the interior lights on without, turning all the blue lights on. Okay, so I'm thinking it's a little bit dim in here. I mean, we're going to usually have our shoulder light on all of the time anyway, but what if we bumped up the intensity on every other light? Because with the intensity up on all of them, it seemed like it was a little too much. So we'll go every other light. Okay, that's a little bit better. It still seems a little bit dim right here. This should be brighter, I would think. We could maybe make another light and put it up on the vent. Well, no, we can't because it's going to hang down and look stupid, since that's not a full block. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's bring them all back up to intensity 2, or yeah, 2, and just look at it again. Maybe it's not that bad. Too bad these didn't have lights, because, you know, you kind of expect a stove to have a light, but... Okay, well, yeah, I guess that's not too bad. If I have my light on too, you know, then it is nice and lit up. And I'm going to have it on all the time anyway, so I probably won't even notice it. All right, so that gives still gives us really good lighting here in the galley, even with the external lights completely turned off. Let's see what it looks like up here. So it does get a little bit darker in the commons area, but it still looks pretty good here on the bridge. Yeah, there's plenty of light on the bridge. Part of that is just because of the, you know, this texture that has the lighting effect. It's kind of dark in here, so we could consider adding a light in here, because if I turn my shoulder light off, well, actually though, I don't know, it kind of sets more of a relaxing mood, doesn't it? You want to just kind of sit on the seat there and watch a football game. Maybe we will leave it this way. Maybe we will leave it this way. Okay. So, again, with the, you know, the texture lighting effect, there's plenty of light going down the hallway. And, you know, again, with our shoulder light on, it looks fine. There's plenty of light in here, so we're doing good with that. While we're in here, I want to do something too. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. We've got 8 bunks in each one of these rooms, okay? So that's going to dictate how many crew we can have. So we can have a total of 9 crew, or no, 16, 17 crew. We can do 16 here, and then, you know, this is the captain's room, this is my room, and then this is Commander Courtney's room, because she's our first officer. Okay, so we can have a total of 16 or 17 crew, including Commander Courtney. So that's something we need to keep in mind too. So yeah, lighting's still fine back here, I think. And it looks so much nicer without having that overpowering blue glow. It looks really good on the outside, but on the inside, it's a little rougher. So I'm pretty happy with this deck and the bridge. Let's go down below now and see how things look down below, again with, you know, the exterior lights turned off. So we'll head down here. It's very dark in engineering. Very dark in here. So, yeah, we might want to add a little more lighting down here. This bay is kind of dark too, but it's not terribly dark. And we certainly could add some lighting in here if we wanted to. Let's go take a look in the engine rooms here. Yeah, see, everything's just a little bit darker than it normally would be. Here again, though, I mean, with the shoulder light on, you hardly even notice it. And who doesn't walk around with their shoulder light on 99.9% of the time in this game, right? Down here, though, I want to also add these lights, because we're going to be spending a lot of time in this bay, because it's where we're doing our construction and all of that. So I want all of these lights to be added also to the interior lighting group. Either that, or we could add them to their own group. I mean, it's really not that dark in here, especially with the shoulder light on. But, you know, these are interior lights after all. So, yeah, let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add... I'm just trying to decide if I want them added to the interior lights group, or if we want to create a separate group for them to turn off and on. And then what we could do is we could set up a sensor that turns them on when we come down here, and then turns them on off when we leave. That would actually make a little more sense, wouldn't it? And let's create another group. Add group. We're going to call this, oh, for Pete's sake, stupid hunger. We're going to call this, we're just going to call it lower deck lights. Maybe lower deck interior lights. Oh, we just ran out of space there. Lower deck lights is fine. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to move this into lower deck lights. And then we should, well, I don't know if those are exactly in order, so we better do each one by looking at it, so we don't screw something up there. All right, let me get these added, and then we'll work on getting a sensor set up. Okay, so we got all of those added to that group. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. Let's roll all this up for a second. So lower deck lights, and let's go into here, and we will call this, this is probably gives us even less space. So how about lower deck lights. There we go. That works. All right. And then we want to go back to this group and assign the lower deck lights switch to that, and that should turn all of these lights on. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. Okay, now let's get roughly in the center of the deck here, so probably right about here. And we need to make ourselves a sensor. So let's do that now. Sensors and signals, sensors and signals. Those were, yeah, let's make sure we're making the right one. Why in the hell did they separate those? They should just be the same group. I think they used to be. All right, let's make a couple of those. And I'm also going to just queue up a few more lights, unless I have some lights in here. Do I have some lights that we moved over? We do not. Okay. Yeah, so let's make, I don't know, we'll queue up like 20 more lights there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get right about in the middle-ish here. Okay. And let's put this down here. Light barrier. I've never actually used those. We'll grab this. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to look at this sensor, and let's call, oh, we need to put this into a group first before we can name it. So add to group, and we'll put that in signal and sensor. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to call this lower deck sensor, light sensor. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to set up the range in which it will activate. Let's get in our drone so we can kind of see a little bit better. Okay, so let's see. Left control number pad. So left control is what makes it bigger, and then we just have to figure out which one's which. Okay, so control, that moves it that. Okay, so you know what? Let's look at it from this direction then, so it's going the direction we want it to go in. So that moves it up against there, so this should move it up against there. Okay, that's good. What is the height. So I can't tell if it's doing anything. Oh, I have to do left control and left alt. There we go. Duh. Okay. So that moves it up. All right. And then let's go control down there. Okay. So that puts it right to the floor. Move that all the way back to there. And then same thing over here. Excellent. We could even move it in a block this way, so that way if we come down the elevator here, it also triggers it. There we go. So that way, when we're coming down the elevator, the lights will turn on as well. Perfect. Okay. Let's hit escape to get out of that. So we've set up our sensor range. Now what we want to do is, unfortunately, you can't assign a group to a sensor because it doesn't give you the option here. I think we could do it if we configured it as a circuit, though. But I have not really messed with circuits very much. I barely understand. I mean, I do understand the concept, but the actual practical application I'm kind of rusty on. If you guys know of a good tutorial, maybe even Jeff Randall has one, I don't know, but a good tutorial on how to practically apply these, that would be great. Because here's the thing. Every time I've looked up tutorial on how to use signals on Empyrion, you get this guy and he sets up a bunch of blocks and does your, you know, and or signal circuits and goes through and shows what the circuits do, which is fine, but nobody shows you how to practically apply it, you know? So if you know of a good video that does that, let me know, because I would like to, you know, to get, you know, more knowledgeable about these things. So we need to go to lower deck sensor, and this we need to add then, or we need to give it a name. That's what we need to do. So we're just going to call it the same thing. Lower deck lights. Okay, so that's the name of the signal itself. Now what we do is we go back to the lower deck lights and we add this to it, lower deck lights. And I think we just keep that on follow, but we'll see. Okay, so let me get all these added, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I think we got it. So when we enter in, the lights turn on, and when we go back outside, they turn off. Beautiful. Okay, cool. We probably could, we should and could probably set this up for the lights upstairs too. I mean, if we really want to make this as energy efficient as possible, which is important with this ship because, man, does it suck the fuel. All right, so let's go ahead and turn that off. So as far as in here, what do we want to do about in here? We have very limited places that we can put lights down. So let's go into our F4 menu and go to main output and grab these lights here. Oh wait, I've got those lights there. Are they even turned on? They're not. Okay, I got an idea. Can we get over here? I'm taking a little bit of radiation. That's all right. Oh, and heat. That's not all right. Okay. So since we can put lights there, why don't we choose something bigger, like maybe this light 4? Light 2, light 4. Yeah, I'm kind of liking light 4. Let's get another one of these because we're... Okay, so we got light 4. We could... Here, let's do this on our drone so we're not roasting our ass off here. So it has to go there. Okay, and then... Oh, I picked up the block instead of the light. That's what I did. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Okay, so we'll put that light there. And we might actually want these to be fairly intense just because, you know, so we have good light bleed. That's, if there's one thing this game is good at, it's light bleed. We could put a light up here too, if we wanted to. And we can put one up here. And then let's put one... Oh, we could put one there. Or... What if we went with these? Kind of like those. How did that get bass backwards there? Oh, that's why I had them backwards. Actually, wait a minute. What if we, instead of doing that, what does this one look like? How about this one? Yeah, I think I like that better. Okay. Okay, now how's it looking here? It's still a little dark going through this tunnel, but that's not necessarily a big deal because it might even be the glass that's doing that. But we have more light in here now, and I think it's definitely an improvement. What's it look like up here now with the bleed through? Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, now I could set up another sensor for these lights too. It would kind of make sense to do so, wouldn't it? If we're gonna do that though, where are we gonna put the sensor? Yeah, you know what? If we put the sensor here, can we put something there? We can, okay. Then it would stay good all the way up the elevator. I think that's what we should do. Alright guys, I think we have the sensor range set up, so it basically starts all the way up on the ceiling there, and it goes all the way down to the floor, all the way out to the edge of the elevator on that side, and one block out this way, and I think it's set. So let's press escape to set that. We'll just call it engineering lights. All right, now we go to engineering lights. We should be able to add that to the signal, which is right here. Now, if we leave the area and then come here, it should turn on. Look at that. And they should stay on until we get around here and then back down the hall there. And then they turn off. Excellent. Okay, so that's set up. The only other thing I'm wondering if I should make these a little more intense. intense. Because if I turn my light off, it's still pretty dark in here. Let's try that. So let's change the intensity of these. Let's bump it up one level each and let's see what it looks like. Still pretty dark. I think the ones up here are, well, yeah, let's just see what they're set to. I'm not really sure. They seem like really intense looking at them. They're not, though. I wonder if we should bump the range up a little too. So do that and then give this a little range. Yeah, I think that's making a difference. I don't want to overdo it though either, because then everything gets really saturated with light and it doesn't look good. Okay, let's also increase the range on these too. There. I like that. It's a little bit bright there, but now it looks like an actual lit up engineering section, doesn't it? Nice and bright. And this is without our shoulder light on. Turn the shoulder light on, then it's even better. That is a bit overpowering there, I have to say. I wonder if we should keep the range but bump this back down a little bit. Yeah, see, that's a little better there. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's good. I think that's what we want. What's it look like inside of the engine the generator compartment? How bright is it? Oh, it's nice and bright in here. Beautiful. It is so damn dark in here, isn't it? Yeah, we need to get lights in here too. I'm not going to do it right now, but it's just too dark in here. But yeah, that's something for another time. All right, now there's a couple more things I want to do before we wrap up this episode, but those couple of things could take us a little bit longer. You know, there isn't any lighting in here either. Pretty dark for a medical bay, isn't it? That looks a little bit better. How about if we also... That's already range. What if we bump the intensity up? Yeah, that looks good. We can add this one, though, to the interior lights, I think. Let's see. Add to group. Because that includes, you know, the lights in the galley. It's a little bit dark in here, but here again, you know, with our shoulder light on, I think it's not that big of a deal, really. We wanted to, we could put some lights in here, even though we talked about maybe not doing it. Okay, here's what we're going to do with this one. I still like the idea of a little bit of a mood lighting in here. So why don't we make this blue? Ooh, that's pretty intense blue, isn't it? No, I don't like that. Purple. Let's cut the intensity down. So that, yeah, that's kind of mood lighting-ish. And we'll add that to interior lights as well. So if I wanted to set up a sensor for the interior lights, I'm not sure what the range, how far out a sensor can go on that. And so I know that's one place where you would have to use the signal logic. If you have an area that you want to light up that one sensor can't cover in terms of its range, then you have to set up two and then put those in probably in an OR configuration. You would have to put it in an OR configuration. So, I mean, if we, there is, I don't know where we would set a sensor up though. So yeah, we could put one in that corner there. But I don't think it would cover, you know, all the way back to here. And actually, now that I think about it, it would need to be up another deck anyways, because we put those lights up here in the medical. Well, for now, I'm not going to set up another switch. So, you know, we can control these lights just by the this switch here. See, so that we'll just use that for now until I figure out a sensor solution. But I don't think I want to spend any more time on this right now. Well, at least not on the lights. So there's a couple other things that I want to do. Things that are going to be used individually are things like the repair bay, the teleporter, repair stations, the constructors, and the multi-turret. Those are things I'm just going to manually turn on and off when I need to use them, as opposed to putting them into a group. The fuel and O2 constructor is something that it's so dark in here. I'm going to fix that, you guys. I'm not going to fix it in this episode, but I'm going to fix it. It's just too dark. Anyway, I'm almost wondering if I should increase the range on these as well. Yeah, I think I should, but I'll go through and do that later. Anyway, what I was saying is this constructor is on all the time. This thing is going to be making fuel and or O2 for us 24/7, or at least until we have so much of it that we've completely filled up our storage. But the rest of the constructors are, you know, I'll only turn them on when I need to use them, right? So, yeah, I'll come here, I'll turn this on to use it, and then I'll just have to remember to turn it off later. So, yeah, I gotta include, I do have to increase the range on those. So there's so many things to do. That's the thing about building a ship like this. It's just, it's almost like it's never ending. You're never done. I mean, there would come a point where you would probably feel like you were done with it, but it's just, there's just so much to do. And that's a good thing. I mean, it's fun. It's part of the experience, right? But let's do a couple more things with sensors, and then see where we're at. Like I said, I'm probably gonna have to make this a multi-part episode anyway. It's already getting long, but there's just so much to do. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to try and see what happens if we add all of our large thrusters to a large thruster group, and then turn those off and see if we can still get around okay with our smaller thrusters. Because, you know, that's going to save an enormous amount of fuel if we can do it that way. I haven't tested that though, so I'm not sure how well it'll work. But what we're going to do is let's create a new group here. And we will call this, we're just going to call it large thrusters for now. I might come up with a better name for it. We could probably, do we have enough letters to spell the whole thing out? Yeah, we do. Okay. And then we're going to add all of the large thrusters to that group. So let's see, add to group. Now we will go here and we're going to create a new group, and we're going to call this large thrusters. Okay. Go back to here, find our large thrusters group, and assign that switch to large thrusters. Okay, so we got that taken care of. A couple of things that we might want to turn off when we're not using them or don't need them is the gravity generator and the wireless. Let's look at those again though. I just kind of made a list of things to look at. If we go to the wireless device, which is Where is it? It's going to be under, I think, equipment, right? Yeah. So this uses 10 power units, which isn't a lot, but, you know, every little bit helps. And then the GravGen, is that in its own group? It is. Okay. This uses 100 power units. So, I mean, you know, it's not really that much, to be honest. I mean, how much are we gonna save by doing that? Let's try this. Let's add the equipment, or I'm sorry, the wireless device to the gravity generator group. Let's see, add to group. Okay, and then let's create another switch here, and we're going to call this Grav Wireless, for lack of a better name at the moment. Okay, and then we'll go back to here, and we will add that. Oh, that's already set up in a different thing. Oh yeah, he's okay. My bud set this one up, so we already got a group for that. But that's just a gravity generator. Okay, well, if that's the case, then we don't actually need this. We don't need that name. What we'll do instead is go back to here. And that's already assigned to that. Okay, so here's what I want to see. How much power do we actually save by turning this off? Oh, a little bit. If we look at it in terms of minutes, we have 117 minutes and 8 seconds of, or no, actually I think that's hours. 117 hours and 8 minutes. This gives us 124. That actually has a bigger impact than I thought it would. Quite a bit so. Okay, well, and that's only 2 things that are in that group. Is there anything else assigned to gravity? Wouldn't make sense for anything else to be. Let me just scroll down here really quick and see if there's anything else assigned to it besides gravity itself, gravity generator. I don't know of any faster way to do this. Nope. Wow, okay, that saves more power than I would have thought that it would, so that is definitely a good idea to put those 2 things in that group and, you know, switch them off and on here. What I would like to do, though, is let's call this Grav Wireless. Just so we know exactly what it is we're turning off and on. So yeah, 117 hours versus 124 hours. So we gain about 7 hours of power there. Definitely worth doing. Okay, interior lights. We turn those off. See, that doesn't make as big of a difference. Really only the difference in about 37 minutes. I mean, it's 37 minutes, of course, but that doesn't make as big of a difference. Do these have to be on for the sensors to work, though? Or do they have to be off? I'm not sure about that. Okay, large thrusters. Yeah, now 92 hours versus 115 hours, right? So that gives us almost 20 more hours of power. So that's a huge difference there. Spotlight, tiny difference. Not a ton, almost 20 minutes. So I guess that's worth it. Turrets. That makes a pretty significant difference in power. Weapons, same thing here. So those are turned off. Now, cargo constructors was a switch that my bud set up that, you know, turns off all of the cargo constructors, but I don't think I'm going to use this because here again, I want to keep the fuel constructor working 24/7. Let's just see what that does. I can't remember exactly. Also, let's test. Okay, the lights come on there. If we... Oh, we didn't even set up an engineering switch for... Okay, yeah, we don't really need to. And in fact, now that I think about it, why does it seem brighter down here than it did before? Interior lights, or lower deck lights. We don't really need this switch at all because, you know, it's controlled by the sensor. So let's kill that. And we'll go to lower deck lights and unassign that. Okay. Because this is, yeah, this is controlled by the sensor, so there's no point in putting a switch on it at all, right? As soon as we step out here, they turn off. As soon as we step in, they turn off. Beautiful. Okay, what else? The drill turrets. I don't think the drill turrets were working right. So he's got a drill turret switch set up. Where's that at? Right here. And a multi-turret switch set up. The thing about the multi-turret, though, is I only have one, and that's one of those things that I'll just turn it on when I need to use it. I don't see a need for it to have its own signal. So we're just going to kill that. And drill turrets, see that same thing. I don't think we have anything set up for drill turrets either on the signals, on the circuits. What's over here? That's going to be under harvest. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. I got confused between signals and circuits. So that should work then. See, we killed that signal. I guess, yeah, I guess it is kind of useful to have that. So if we go back to here, and let's just set this back again. Because otherwise what I have to do is I have to fish around in the P menu to turn that thing off and on. So I guess it does kind of make sense to do this. So we'll call this multi-turret. That should be 2 words. And I only have one, you know, mounted on the front of the ship, so. Okay, so if we go back to multi-turret, and we go to signal logic, it's back. Okay, good. Now, what I want to do is I want to test these, because I thought I tried them earlier and they weren't working. So if we turn the drill turrets on, see, it makes, oh, I guess it does make a difference in power. Okay. So with them off, we have 115 hours. With them on, we have 112. Okay, so those were working. For some reason, I was thinking they weren't. Multi-turret, 114 hours and 15 minutes with it on, and 115 hours and 46 with it off. Good. So we could, if we wanted to, so for cargo constructors, let's look at something else here. I think the power save button has to be off, which then means we're running full power in order for this to work. Okay, so see, that turns them off and on, but it leaves the fuel one on because I want that to be on all the time, because I actually removed it from the group before I started recording. The thing I don't like about this, though, is that in order for this to work, you have to have the power save off, which turns everything on. Well, I guess it doesn't turn everything on. It turns off the thrusters. I mean, it turns on the thrusters and a couple other things too. I'd have to look through the list to see what power save does. So what we'd have to do is turn power save off in order to turn the constructors on, but then we would have to take another step and turn large thrusters off or even all thrusters off. So I don't know, I don't know if that's worth the effort, to be honest, when we can just set up a straight up cargo constructor switch without it being involved in this logic here. I'll have to think that through a little bit more. Because if we turn this on, then it just flips everything on. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it the way it is for now. And as you can see, again, I've got this constructor, so it stays on no matter what. And then we'll, I'll give that some more thought and, might make a change to it later. But anyway, the drill turrets are working, so that's good. We got the lights fixed for now. So if we want to turn just all the lights on with the blue glow and everything, we just turn that switch on. And now, now we're back to the blue glow. Wait, I mean, it's not really bad. It's kind of bad, but it's not really bad. I kind of like it, really. It's worse up here. The saturation, I mean, it looks a little funky right there, but especially when you get up into, this deck here. It's just a little bit much. See how this is all just really oversaturated with the blue? But now what we can do is we can turn the blue lights off, but we still have the interior lights on because, they're in a different group now. Except for, I guess we have to turn them on separately. I don't want to add over 300 lights to an exterior light group, you guys. I don't. That's going to be so much work. We're just going to have to do 2 switches, and that's all there is to it. We're going to have to do 2 switches. Okay, I was thinking about doing a sensor for the teleporter. And the reason I would do that is so that when we use it, it turns off right after we're gone. And because this thing uses an enormous amount of power. It's like, are you kidding me, amount of power? So if we do that, where are we going to put the sensor at? Guess we're going to have to put it there. I don't really like it there, though. Is there a place over out here we could put it? Probably put it there, right? I don't see why not. I don't see why. Oh, no, I do see why not. It's not going to go past its base. Yeah, so that isn't going to work. That might work. Let's just try it and see. Okay, and then we're going to call this the a teleporter sensor. Let's copy that because then we have to do the sensor name also. All right, now let's go here and do interactive setup. So what we want here is we only want it to go that direction, right? So let's figure out our orientation. There we go. Okay, so now what we can do is assign the teleporter to the teleporter sensor. Okay, and turns on. And then as soon as we leave, it turns off. So right now we have 116 hours of power. Now we have 28. See, this thing is just an enormous power draw. I think it probably draws more power than anything else. I mean, I haven't actually looked at that, but I bet you it does. Holy crap. Okay. So that should work. And I think that we can teleport back to it. We're going to call this the black light teleporter. even if it's powered off. So let's test that theory. You know what, though? Before we test that theory, I want to teleport to, the trading station, but let's fly to it first. So in case something doesn't work, I don't have a very, very long walk back. So, all right, let me look at my list of things to do. I wanted to also add all the ventilators except for the farm ventilator to a power down group as well. So we could just do a custom group here. Ventilators. Okay, and so if we go to, we got to create a new group here. What I might actually end up doing too is, once we have all these groups set up, we could still add them to an overall power save, to this power save group too. I just have to figure out how to do that. I think power save full power. So I think we just have to add a bunch of AND signals and then include them in here. I don't know. I'd have to mess with it. Not entirely sure how that works. All right, so we want to add all the ventilators except for the farm ventilator, which I've already put in the farm group anyways, into a ventilators group. Did I just create that? I did. Okay. So, oh, actually, you know what? We don't need to do that. We can just assign the switch right to here. Because we took the farm ventilator out. See, we put that here in the food and farm. Okay, yeah, so we don't even need this group here. Or no, we need this group. We don't need the other group. This is the switch, not the group. Ventilators. So let's select this and then just remove it. Okay. Now if we go to the ventilator group and assign it to 2 ventilators. And so when we're on a planet with a breathable atmosphere, we can turn those off. So how much difference does that make? With them on, we have 116 hours. With them off, it goes all the way up to 143. Wow. Those use quite a bit of power collectively too, so I think that was definitely worth doing. So let's before we go anywhere, what I want to do is let's just see how much power we've actually saved with all these changes, right? So if we just turn everything on full bore, everything that is except for the except for this. We're not turning that damn thing on. Okay. So everything should be completely powered up. So we have 58 hours and 12 minutes of power with everything currently powered up. And then of course, if we were actually under thrust, that would go way down even further than that because the thrusters are not actually firing right now. Okay. So if we turn that on, that turns all the thrusters off, which is actually what we want to do. So let's turn all the thrusters off. Let's turn off the gravity wireless. We'll keep the interior lights on, but we want the spotlights off, the turrets off, the weapons off, the cargo constructors off. What else? Okay, why is that only at 85? What am I missing here? It's not this, is it? No, that shouldn't have any... Oh, shield. That's what it was. It was the shield generator. Okay. See, now this is something that it's risky. I mean, this uses a lot of power, but it's risky turning this off because, you know, if you get attacked, then you're going to take hull damage. So, I don't know. It makes a huge difference, though, doesn't it? It's going to use a bunch of power when it's charging, but once it fully charges, then it kind of goes into a standby or a passive mode or a low power mode, whatever you want to call it. So 8539. Yeah, this thing is a huge power draw, but it's also extremely critical too to have on, because, you know, unless you're going to be in a place where you're never going to get attacked, which is, there's not very many places like that in this game. That's going to make a big difference. So anyway, I think that you know, all of this stuff collectively definitely, you know, does have an impact on power savings. Cargo constructors. See, this doesn't even work right because it's dependent upon if the power save thing is off or on. See, now it turns them on. So I might have to redo that. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that's all we're going to do for power switches and power saving for today. There's more that can be done, of course. I do want to put more lights in the mid on the mid deck. It just needs it. We never actually looked at the upper deck either in terms of lighting. So we'll have to do that. But if we turn, you know, if we turn the main lights all the way off and just the interior lights on, you know, that makes a pretty significant difference too. See, if those are on, well, it makes a difference. I don't know if it's a significant difference, but it does make a difference. Okay, so we got two more things to do before we wrap up this episode. I want to change our landing gears to retracting, which we're going to do up in orbit because it's going to be easier to get around that way. And I want to test the teleporter, but we want to be close to the base that we're going to test that on. Let's turn that off. Okay, so let's try something else too while we're at this. I want to turn... Let's just turn the large thrusters off and we'll see how we do with the smaller ones. So we can't even lift off without those, can we? Okay, well, then let's turn... That just turns the large ones on. That turns everything on. So does that mean if we turn the large thrusters off while we're in the air, we fall back down? Okay, so this probably isn't going to work so well in Atmo unless we go through and selectively put, you know, keep some large on and some large off. But it still could work in space, though. All right, so let's just turn those on. Oh, it's the wrong thing. Not the turrets. Thrusters. What in the hell? We got caught on the tree or something. Okay, so let's go to the power, or not to the power station, to the space planet side station. Man, I love the roar of those engines. Sounds really good in my headphones. I wish the sound, you know, distance from the thrusters lasted a little further out than they do. I mean, we should still be able to hear those thrusters from this far out, but they have a point where they just kind of stop, you know, the sound. Whoops. The ship is so big that sometimes I underestimate how close to the ground it actually is. There we go. Okay, we'll turn all thrusters off. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go here. Deactivate shield. Oh, okay. Let's turn the shields off. Okay, we're going to go to... Shut up, Raptor. The trading station, which is only 179 meters from us. But what I want to test here is I want to make sure that I can teleport back to the ship even with the teleporter turned off, which I'm pretty sure we can. Let's do this though. Let's bring up our control panel. We'll select the black light, and I just want to make sure that the teleporter is actually powered back down. It should be, unless the game leaves it on for some reason when we teleport. Yep, it's off. Awesome. Okay, so that worked. Now we should be able to teleport back to it though, even though it's powered down. That's the theory. There we go. All right, cool. I know it worked that way in No Man's Sky. You know, you could set up teleporters in No Man's Sky, and if they were powered down, you know, you could still teleport to them. They just had to be on to teleport from. So that actually works out pretty good. It's kind of too bad these things, you know, because of they do use so much power, it's kind of too bad they don't just automatically shut off anyway. I don't think they do they? We could test that theory too. Let's just turn the motion sensor off so it's not working. Can it be used when the vessel's moving? Okay. So let's go back to the trading station again. They should have like a pressure plate. That would be like the perfect scenario, right? Okay, let's go here and back to here. Yeah, it's still on. It's still on. Okay. Sucking up all of our fuel. So we need to turn this guy back on. We might have to go into it and back out of it. Yeah, to activate it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we could use a pressure plate for two reasons. One, as soon as we step off it, it's going to turn off. And two, we can't, I don't think you can put stuff on top of pressure plates. So we would have to remove that. So this is our best solution. Okay, guys, one last thing before we wrap up this episode. Let's go ahead and head on up into space. So we want our O2 on. We want our shield on. We'll turn our running lights on, too. But we don't need turrets and weapons. Here we go. Oh, I gotta get the Stingray parked. It's just sitting on the back end of the ship there. Look at that moon up in the sky. That's cool looking. Here we go. What do you mean no oxygen? Oh. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get a little further out. Okay, why don't we have O2? Oh, the grav generator's off too. Okay, here. We got to turn that on, don't we? We'll have to figure this out. Okay, so let me turn this off and back on. We don't have O2 on the bridge? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There we go. That switch has to be on, not off. I turned them off. Okay, now we're good. Yeah, we can take our helmet off and we're fine now. Okay, let's go take a look at our... what a neat view. Check that out. I love this game. All right, I want to see about maybe changing these up. So what we're going to do is... Are we still connected to this? Yes. Okay, well, I think that changes things up, makes the ship look a little more sleek, maybe just a tiny bit. It's a very small improvement. It's not a major thing, but I think it just looks just a tiny bit more sleeker than it did before. Made a lot of changes to Blacklight today, but I think some good improvements overall. Definitely good improvements. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this to template right now before I forget. And then let's also just do a quick blueprint save. I'm not quite ready yet to put this up on the workshop, just because there's probably going to be a few more tweaks. But if you guys want the Blacklight as it currently is, understanding that again we're probably going to put a few more tweaks into it, just let me know and I can just put it up on the workshop as is. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of these. It's really dark on this side. Is it a little lighter on the other side? Yeah, that looks better. With Planet D in the background there. Get up a little higher, maybe? Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, let's do an Alt-O. And we're going to save this as blacklight. I don't want to overwrite that. So we're going to save it as blacklight T4. I'm not going to put version. I'm just going to do V version. We made enough changes this. We'll call this version 2.0. I guess I have a version 2 there already, don't I? All right, we're going to call this version 3 then. Not 23. There we go. Okay, so it's blueprinted and it is templated. So now we can get it back into this exact state later if something bad happens and we need to get it, well, back into this state later. Ow! Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? Holy smokes. Okay, so that's this thruster here that's causing that issue. I'll bet you we could probably remove that thruster altogether and it wouldn't really make any difference to speak of. Especially because it's a down thruster anyways. Because I can't move it back because we have a gun there. Yeah, I think we just remove it altogether. I really do think that's all we got to do. It's just not going to make that much difference. If it was an up thruster, you know, or a drive thruster, I'd be a little more leery about it. But because it's just a down thruster, let's go to main output, connect to that. Okay, that problem is solved. So let's get out of here. And once again, we will... I don't know if that has to be collapsed or not, but we're going to save this to template, and we're going to have to go do another blueprint save too. Yeah, I forgot about that issue. I knew it was a problem, but I just, like I said, I completely forgot that it was a thing until just now. That looks pretty good there. Okay, let's get rid of the HUD, and this we're just going to overwrite. So it was Blacklight T4 version 3. Oh, you know what? It's the farm plots are screwing that up, aren't they? Son of a bitch. Alright, well, let's overwrite it. Damn it. I don't want to have to redo all my crops. Can you admin spawn? Let's just try something here really quick. Let's go here. No, not there. Let's go here. And let's go... SBP, spawn blueprint. Okay, so will it let me spawn this? It will. It probably just let me spawn it without the, I'm assuming without the crops in place. Oh, it, it does let me spawn it with the crops in place. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters for when we get to the point where we have the final version that we're going to put on the workshop, then it'll matter. And I'm just going to have to pull the crops back up before I save it. But for now, when we're just doing an incremental save, so to speak, with the intention of probably making more changes, I'll just admin spawn it in again if, you know, I am in a situation where I need to do that. All right, so let's see. This is ID 16036. So we want to go destroy. 16036. And boom, it's gone. All right, guys. That's it for this episode, man. We did a lot of stuff in this episode, but it was all good stuff. In the next episode, my plan is to go get crew, so we can have a total of 17 crew all together, and we already have our engineer in place, so we need to buy 16 more crew members. You know, get them set up on the ship, and then we are ready to go. We are ready to take off. Things that I still need, you know, to do are, I want to put lights in the mid bay. I think we just need to do that. It's super dark. So we'll get that done, but I'll probably do that off camera. And, I mean, you know, with the blue lights on, it's not that bad in here. What's it look like up here? See, these lights here we should add to their own group, because right now they're in the same group as the exterior lights. So I'll do, that's something I need to do too, but I'll just do that off camera too. But then, yeah. That's pretty much where we're at. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.